If you came across this video, you might be somebody who makes 6 figures. Maybe you have a loving partner and a life that looks really good on paper, but you still feel this quiet, constant exhaustion. Maybe like you're performing for an audience that really isn't even in the room anymore. If that feels familiar at all, you're in the right place. And I want to tell you that feeling isn't a character flaw, not just burnout. For many of us, it's actually a compass. And it's pointing directly back to our relationship with our fathers. And so we're gonna talk about the father wound. And all that is, is the emotional pain, the hidden grief, and the set of unconscious beliefs that we carry from our father, who was maybe physically absent or emotionally unavailable or critical or just not there in a way that we really needed him to be. You've probably seen those viral videos, the ones with the colored water showing how generational trauma gets passed down. This is about what colored water actually looks like in the daily life of a man. There was one comment with over 14,000 likes in one of those videos that said, "I'd do anything to make that water clear for my son." And the first step to making it clear is knowing exactly what you're trying to filter out. So today we're gonna cover 5 signs that this wound is secretly running your life. And this isn't about blame, it's about awareness, because you can't heal what you can't see. The first sign is that you live on a treadmill, and it's called never enough. From the outside, it looks like success. It looks like ambition. But for you, it feels like a prison. It's this relentless need to achieve. Not for the joy of it, but to finally feel worthy. It's checking your work email at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, not because it's urgent, but because you're chasing a good job from a boss that you're really trying to hear from your father. And so if your father's approval was conditional or just absent, you learn very early that your value comes from what you do, not who you are. And so you just keep going, doing. Think about your last big win at work, the last project. How long did that satisfaction actually last? An hour, maybe a day? Before that voice kicked in saying, okay, what's next? You can't stop now. That's the wound talking. And I want to be clear, this isn't about being lazy. The real fear under all of this is that if you stop achieving, you will become invisible. You'll become unlovable because your performance is the only currency you think you might have. That script in your head sounds like, if I can just get the next promotion, if I can just close this next deal, if I can make this much money, then I'll finally be able to relax. Then I'll be good enough. But those goalposts, they always move, don't they? So let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something purely for the joy of it, with no goal, no metric of success attached to this outcome? All right, so the second sign is that you live in what I call an emotional desert. You basically have 2 primary states. You're either completely numb or you're a flash flood of rage. And there's very, very little in between. The numbness, this is the man who is fine all the time. Your partner asks what's wrong and you genuinely don't know the answer. You become so disconnected from your feelings that fine is the only thing that you have access to. And then something small happens. Someone cuts you off in traffic or the Wi-Fi goes down and you explode with a level of anger that is just way, way out of proportion to the situation. And that's because it's not about the traffic, it's years of unexpressed grief and frustration and pain just leaking out of the only valve you have left. If your father never modeled healthy emotional expression, or even worse, if he punished it, you learn that emotions are dangerous, they're useless. So you buried them, but buried feelings really don't lie, they just fester. You see these videos on low emotional intelligence with millions of views, but they always miss the why. For so many men, this isn't a lack of intelligence. It was a survival strategy you had to learn in childhood. Think about it. Your partner is crying and your first instinct isn't to comfort her, it's to fix it, to offer solutions because her emotion feels threatening to your system, and your brain's only safe path is logic and action, not feeling and presence. Does your family have a history of men who just don't talk about their feelings, who just get on with it? That's the generational trauma water, and you've been swimming in it. This is that exhaustion people talk about, learning to feel again. That's the real work. I wanted to take a brief pause on this video to go ahead and thank you so much for watching. Also, if you're anything like me, you've always had a tough time really tracking your habits. And so what I went ahead and did was I created what's called the Rebuild Tracker. It's free, and it's for the men who are looking to just get 1% better every single day, to track the things like your sleep, your water intake, your nutrition, your workouts, meditation, affirmations, reading, and also how you're connecting with others authentically. There's a link in the description below if that's something that interests you. Let's get back to the video. Okay. So the third sign, this one shows up big in our romantic relationships. You're either drawn to being a fixer or you over-index on being a provider. And both of them come from the same place. The fixer, this is the man who finds himself attracted to partners who are in a state of chaos or need saving. Your role becomes fixing their problems, managing their emotions, being their rock. And why? Because if you can successfully fix someone else, it proves your value. And it heals a little part of you that couldn't fix the situation with your father. Or you might be the provider. You focus intensely, almost obsessively on providing financially. You believe your number one role is to make money and give your family a life you never had. And that's a noble thing, but it can also be a way to avoid emotional intimacy. You provide for them so you don't have to be emotionally present with them. Both of these roles let you show love through action and service instead of through vulnerability and emotional connection, which feels terrifying. It's a way to be essential without being intimate. Does this sound familiar to you? Your partner says something like, "I just want to connect with you." And your response is something like, "Don't I provide a good enough life for you? I'm working hard for us." You're speaking two completely different languages. Relationship coaches talk about communication styles, but they often miss the root in this. This isn't a communication issue. It's a safety problem. Being emotionally open was not safe for you when you were a child. So why on earth would it feel safe to you now? Stick with me here. So ask yourself this: if you stripped away your ability to provide for or fix things for your partner, what value would you believe you have left to offer that relationship? Sign number 4 is a deep, deep-seated distrust of other men. We either have very few close male friends, or the friendships you do have are purely superficial. They're based on sports or work or hobbies, and they never get any deeper. And so the origin of this is your father was your first model for masculinity. He was your first male relationship. And when the bond is broken or unsafe or just non-existent, the template for all of your future male relationships becomes men are not safe, or men let you down, or men are just competition. There's a little video called "Reason Why I Trust My Male Friends" has over 77 million views. It touches a raw nerve. Millions of men are starved for healthy, trusting male connection, but have absolutely no idea how to build it. This can look like being the lone wolf, fiercely independent, proud of not needing anybody, or it can look like the chameleon in male groups, always agreeing, never showing weakness, performing a version of masculinity you think is expected of you. You're just trying to win the room. This isn't just about male friends though. It's a fear of really letting anyone see the real you, the part of you that is uncertain or scared or needs help. Because the first man who was supposed to see and accept that part of you really didn't. Okay, the final sign. Sign number 5 is a paradox in how you relate to authority. You're either chronically rebellious against it, or you are a chronic people pleaser to it, the rebel. If you had a controlling or critical father, any male boss or authority figure becomes a stand-in for him. And so you find yourself fighting battles that don't need to be fought. questioning every decision and feeling this compulsive need to prove them wrong. It's your inner child finally trying to win the fight he never could. Then there's the people pleaser. If you had an absent or distant father, you probably spent your childhood trying to be good enough to earn his attention, and now you do the exact same thing with your boss. You say yes to everything, you take on way too much, and you burn yourself out trying to win that approval that was always withheld from you. Look at the pattern here. Your reaction to authority today is almost always a direct replay of your relationship with your father. You're not reacting to your boss, you're reacting to your dad. Think about your last performance review. Did you hear the feedback as just constructive data, or did you hear it as a fundamental judgment on your worth as a person? That's the difference between a healthy response and a wound-based response. So here's the gut check question. When your boss gives you an assignment, is your internal feeling, how can I do this well? Or is it, how can I do this perfectly so I don't get in trouble or disappoint them? That anxiety, that's the clue. Whether you fight it or fawn it, if authority has an oversized emotional charge for you, that energy is likely coming from the father wound. Now, here's the thing. I want to be really, really clear about something before we close out, because this is the most important part of this whole video. This is not about your father being a bad person. I can speak to this personally from my own life. My father has always loved me. And we've worked really, really hard. And we continue to work really, really hard to mend our relationship and heal it. The work hasn't been easy, but the love was never in question. And so I want you to hold that, because here's what I know to be true. Our fathers were only working with what they were given. Whatever wound made its way into life. It came from somewhere. It came from his father and his father before that, going back a number of generations. That's Indra's net. Every point in the web connected to every other point. The pain gets passed down like a current, not because anyone intended to hurt you, but because no one in that chain had ever been shown how to break it. Holding a grudge over your father for something he himself was never taught to overcome, you know, it's like being angry at a man for not knowing a language he was never taught to speak. It doesn't help him, and more importantly, it doesn't free you. It just keeps you chained in the same exact story. Now, I'm not saying to bypass the pain. You feel it, you name it. That's part of the work we've been doing today. But the destination, the real destination in all of this work is compassion, not just for him, but for yourself. Because you didn't find this video on accident. You have a desire deep in your chest to be different, to be more present, more whole, more honest, to be the father, the partner, the man that maybe you didn't have a model for. And that desire, that's not the wound talking. That's your true North Star. We are chain breakers. The wound was handed down, but the healing starts right here with us. So if you're still here and a few of those signs landed hard, I want you to take a breath. Really take a breath. This awareness is not a curse, it's a map. And the fact that you're watching this, that you're doing the work at looking at this honestly, that already puts you ahead of every generation before you that maybe have just passed on this without ever questioning it. Here's the first step I want to leave you with. Right now, I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes for 15 seconds and just notice where you feel the resonance of this video in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest, a pit in your stomach, a tension in your jaw? Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just acknowledge it. For the first time, maybe, just let it be there. That right there is step one. You're moving the issue from an intellectual problem up in your head to a felt sense in your body. And that's where the real healing begins. If this video landed for you and you want to start somewhere concrete, the rebuild tracker in the description is where I'd start. If you're watching this video, you're already the type of man that this channel was built for. Subscribe to Ty Rising below and stay in it. Every week, we'll provide content to go over healing, identity, and what it actually means to be a man from the inside out. Now, if you're a man watching this, you need it. Don't let the algorithm get a hold of you.